early voting went through November 3rd. So we went on November 3rd to Belmead City Hall, and we're planning to vote for the same people. This is me and my partner. We live in the same house, same residence. We share the same ballot. My ballot goes, I'm super quick at voting, done. It's everyone who I'm expecting. My partner takes a long time. So we walk out to the car after voting, and she's like, I didn't have any of the people that we wrote down. And I was like, I had all the people I wrote down, and that's the only thing I had on my ballot. She was like, wait, the guy who was helping me changed my voting precinct and my polling location and said that it's what he was told to do. So I had a whole different ballot of people. And she's like, I didn't have any of the people that you told me about. And I was like, you're kidding.
It is finally here, the elections we've been waiting an eternity for. And it wouldn't be an American election without charges of both voter suppression and rigged elections. By the time you see this, you've probably already voted, and many of the races we're all following with bated breath will have been called. But it's never too late to talk about the experience of voting. In fact, for many Americans, the aftermath of elections is where these conversations about voting really actually happen, right? The ballots are cast, there's no more policies or personalities to focus on. We can really dig into just how secure our voting systems are from a first-hand perspective. This woman's clearly was not so smooth, and I'll admit, first I was sort of judging her partner for not immediately realizing that there was something wrong with their ballot. But I always have to remind myself that election and voting literacy is complicated, especially in states that make it very difficult and confusing to vote. And this is just one of many stories we've already heard. There's this from Pennsylvania that is reckoning with their own bizarre situation that says if the date is incorrect on a ballot, it won't be counted. Oh, and of course, hundreds of cases of this type of rhetoric from the right.
So here we are less than a week before the Democratic Party is expected to suffer overwhelming losses in the midterm elections. And here you have the leader of that party, Joe Biden, commanding you not to complain about the election results.
Here's what I would say to Joe Biden. Any election I don't like is stolen. Any election where you get 81 million tabulations, not votes, is stolen. It's pretty simple. If I don't like it, it's stolen. If I like it, it's not stolen. If you win, it's stolen.
Hey, Michiganders, listen up. Did you know that Proposal 2 would allow anyone to vote without showing proof of an ID? That's right, Proposal 2 would give violent felons like murderers and rapists the right to vote from prison. Do you want them participating in our elections? Because I sure as heck don't.
This last one is one of my favorite cringy alt-right influencers, Allison Steinberg, who makes the case that people in jail shouldn't be allowed to vote. But she's using a framing of like, even if they can vote, it shouldn't matter because they are morally reprehensible. But voting in this country is a right, not a privilege. And I find certain people in our culture heinous, like, oh, I don't know, this girl. But in fact, I still want her to vote and defend her right to do so. It's the first federal elections since Donald Trump truly opened a floodgate of questioning our voting systems, and our democracy is being tested in a way and on a scale never seen before. The conversation about voting fraud and voter suppression, which have always been at play in election talk, have now completely morphed into the belief by some on the right that it doesn't matter if the election actually is fair. If my party loses, the election was stolen. By the time you see this video, as I said, many races will have been called, but there are tons that haven't. With mail-in ballots to be counted, charges of voter fraud, and examples of voter suppression like this one, the 2022 elections and their aftermath and how that will influence America is, in a way, only getting started. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.